new friends and communities which can help you in some things. You can meet new people who share similar interests or ambitions as you. You can raise awareness on important issues. You can learn a lot of new information that can be useful for further learning. Social media also promotes self-directed learning, which prepares students to search for answers that they need when they study for some kind of subject. And it is shown that 59% of people in the world use social media, which is about 4 billion people. And average daily use of social media is 2 hours and 31 minutes.
Okay, so one of the most important things on social network, you have better communication, and that's true for most people because it's easier to make friends for them because some people don't have much confidence. Also, you can build a business. You can establish business to grow, and you always have some feedback. Also learning and education. That's not just for kids and students, it's also for grown people. Because on the internet you have so much sites and so much YouTube pages where you can learn new things and see something new. Also be a role model to young and motivate them. So many influencers has shared their experience about share their experience to help other young people, and that can be a life-changing. Also, you can express your creativity online. You can share art online, and social media, I think, is the best place for that. We also want to say that study done in Mexico has shown that social media have positive influence on psychological well-being, and maybe the most important things of all, you can raise awareness on social media, for example, about the issues in hunger in Africa or bad conditions in the world, like fire in Australia, for example. And also you can donate money that people in past couldn't do.
So we found a study from Pew Research that claims that about 1 in 5 U.S. adults find their political information primarily through social media, through social network. And also social media allows you to talk more freely, and because you can be anonymous in, well, most of the time. And also social media lets you inform and understand others way more deeply, and makes you more receptive. Also, thanks to social media, each person with marginal views can see that they're not alone, and helps them relate to others. Also, social networks provide healthcare professionals with tools to help others online, and also to provide mental health behaviors to also social networks can also, just as Mina said, show us, can provide us educational benefits, such as learning from multiple sources. And as we know, for the past 3 years since COVID has started, it just proved how beneficial and necessary social networks are to stay in touch with the rest of the world.
Today's society that actually are not good for us, that could stop our world from improving, that could really affect us, our health, our places, where we live, the world we know today. So I think by doing first, including eco buses that will increase the the pollution, decrease the pollution, yes, sorry. Decrease the pollution will be the first step to actually improving our society and fixing all other problems that we have mentioned.
Has, of course, negative sides, but the positives are much more seeable. You all have social media, don't you? So why use them? There would be, like, if social media was so bad and has such a bad effect on us, our parents would prevent us from using it so often, and you wouldn't have social media. You're defending the bad sides of it, and you wouldn't have it. So you know that there are certainly many good sides to it. So please tell me, if you have social media, how you manage your social media without bringing the negative sides? How do you manage to stay on the positive sides?
The paying of the driver is a whole another topic, because you're paying a ticket. The money from the ticket does not directly go to the driver, and funds from the country should pay for the drivers, and that's a whole other topic. And second of all, you said that a bus spends a lot more gas than cars in a traffic jam. Except in the contrary, one car with a person inside will spend more gas than a bus with multiple people in it.
So you said that the parking lot is way more expensive than the bus ticket, but today bus tickets are almost the same price as the parking lot. So why should we pay parking lot every day when we can have free buses and much less expenses to pay?
On the contrary, you said that the bus driver is not getting paid. It's like my friend said, it's a whole different topic. They do get paid by Debata, which is an organization in our country, and you also stated about the budget. Well, the budget is there to help people and to improve the city. And what else could it be if we do not improve the transportation that we need? Because cities are very large, as our capital is very large, and it does take you at least an hour to get from one end to another, and believe me, I know. And as well, you said that there could be a crash with the public transport. I believe you said buses. There are crashes every day, and not just with mostly cars, but not the buses. Buses rarely get into such situations. And about the fuel, we can also use eco-friendly buses. May I have another minute? We can also. No.
Thank you. The issues that you have brought up are body dysmorphia, ED, cyberbullying, and so on social media we have a certain thing, as you all know, because you all have social media, called a For You page. So you choose who you follow, of course, and the content that comes up on your For You page is specifically for you. So you choose what you want to see. You can see many creators that show the issues of body dysmorphia. They talk about it a lot, about ED. They can help you a lot, help you through the process. As we all know, there was a certain trend on TikTok for people who have ED. Certain famous creators would be like, okay, so I'm gonna eat with you, please. I'm gonna help you through this. So we're well aware that there are many trends that are positive on social media that can help us very much. Cyberbullying is, yes, a very serious issue, but cyberbullying, as we all know, awareness, there's a lot of awareness about that. And so the police is always doing something, and you can always go to the police because of that. And there are many guidelines and restrictions and controls that you can do on the social media yourself to help stop it. So you brought up also the issue of addiction, but any kind of addiction is bad, of course, we all know that. Because there was a Harvard study, and it does show that many kids do get addicted. But that is, you know, you have a certain certain ways to prevent it. You have a time limit on your cell phone that you can put that can stop you from using too much social media. You also have, self-control. Any kind of addiction is bad. We all know that. An addiction to even a sport can be bad.
School is extended learning from elementary, and from that perspective, anyone who went to elementary and who spent so many years and so many time learning and doing everything they should is able to keep up in secondary school and is able to learn everything and go on with the tone and do everything that is needed. Whereas we might agree that in college, which is so much different from secondary school, which is in any way different from that, we think that there should be an entry exam because then kids are able to actually do it right. So now.
Okay, so first of all, when we're in elementary school, we're very immature, young, and we don't have that sense of responsibility, and we're not very aware of how much our studying and our grades can affect our possible educational future. So for years of studying to be all concluded into one test is, in our opinion, very necessary. I mean, nowadays, unnecessary, sorry, thank you. Nowadays, even adults don't know what they want to be in life. They change colleges, they change jobs, they change schools, and for a kid that is like 13 or 14 years old, to be expected to know what they want to do in life is a bit too much.
And one of the major ongoing questions in education is the role of exams. So, as we all know, assessments are used to verify whether a student is qualified for some kind of job or school, and although they can be used as an educational tool to influence the learning process, where the kid studies someone or do they remember what they studied. And when students are overwhelmed, their schoolwork suffers. So psychological facts said that stress and anxiety during exams they markedly impairs memory retrieval. For instance, the risk of underachieving at exams. So kids who suffer from anxiety during their exams, or the exams are demotivating the further education to perform. And for instance, poor preparation and worrying about failure or pressure can be really damaging to young kids.
They should be free. First of all, the fact is people need to go places. People need, for example, to go to school, to go to their work, to their jobs, and hospitals, for example. They need to be places. And why should they pay to be somewhere why should they pay to be somewhere? Like, for example, in smaller cities, smaller towns, there is a form of public transportation, but people don't use it as often because it's a smaller area. You can get from place A to place B more easily. So why should people in bigger cities pay to do the same thing that people in smaller cities don't pay to do?
Also, why should they pay for public transport? For example, we have kids and students who they don't have jobs, and especially kids, they don't have jobs, so they don't have their own money to pay, and maybe their parents are in some financial problems, so they don't have enough money to pay for their kids to go to school, for example, and use public transport. Also, students, that, for example, come from different countries and different cities, they may not have enough money because they have to pay for their apartment, school expenses, dorms, and food, and they also probably don't have some jobs that they get a lot of money for, so also paying for public transport to get to places would on top of it be too much.
The problem in bigger cities today is air pollution. So if public transportation is free, much more people will use it, and there will be less cars in the streets, and there will be less car jams, which will be more comfortable. There will be less air pollution, and there will be less gas emission in the atmosphere. Today, gas prices are so expensive, and it will be much more cheaper if transportation is free, public transportation is free. So if there are less cars and less gas emission in the atmosphere, that will better the human health.
As already stated, we have people living in different cities, not just the capital, and it's a big problem because they have to pay a sum to get to place A to place B. And it's a problem especially in smaller towns that are actually poorer than the bigger cities we know in our country. And it can be very hard for them to pay, but they do have to pay, especially in the villages that are on top of mountains. And people just can't, especially old people or very small children, can't get up on the top of the mountain to go home. And it's actually very sad that they have to pay transport just to get home and just to get by from place A to place B. And as my friend stated, the students as well, and about the economy as well, it can be very beneficial if the transportation was free, because people would be much happier and we wouldn't have so many protests these days.
So you mentioned the realistic self-reflection, and I really do think that it's very rare at our age to have that sense of what we can achieve and what we can't achieve, and also we have to try something, and also as kids we train a lot of sports, try a lot of languages, and do a lot of hobbies to see what is really for us and what is not. And I really think that it is nice to try everything and have opportunity to see what is good for them and what is not good for them. And also you said that not everyone has the same ambitions, and that in fact is true, but once again, I really do think that holistic self-reflection is very rare at our age, and that really develops at our later age, and that's not really a good way to see what are we capable of or not.
Also, we found on the internet that 60% of young people are unable to cope due to pressure to succeed. So if you are so pressured, how can you succeed? And also, survey results show that 64% of students worry that their exam stress is negatively affecting their grades and academic performance.
And you mentioned that not everyone is on the same level, and we agree with that, but those who are so motivated and who show so much effort are the ones who will get to so much higher educations and who will just be filled with opportunities and who will go to places that they want, but not everyone is in mentally comfortable space, and not everyone has so much energy or has a nice home where they are just motivated for that. And also, even if they are, and even if they are so successful,
So all in all, what we wanted to say is that when you compare yourselves now and when you were 13 and 14 is a big difference. Now you have so much more perspectives, and then you maybe didn't even know what you want to be. So putting so much pressure on such a young kid, like I said, is a bit too much. And I don't think that opportunities should be taken from those who weren't responsible enough when they were younger. And I think everybody should get a chance, should get a second chance. If you were not good in elementary school, why not try something new in your secondary school?